Yo, it's like 6 things I could roast Cudi on about this damn album cover, but out of respect, I'm just gonna say, nigga. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad of Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews Hip Hop Data. We got an album review today where we talking about the brand new album that just fucking dropped from a nigga who been in the game for a hot minute, doing big things, but at the same time, yo, he been telling us his personal issues and problems ever since the jump, and like, yo, we didn't even ask for that shit, but like, yo, he just started telling us shit, and we was like, damn, Scott, you alright? He's like, no, nigga, I'm not, but shit, I'm gonna get through it. I said, alright, we here for you. If you here for us, we gonna here for each other. This nigga's back. He dropped his new shit. It was supposed to come out a good while ago, but this nigga needed to get some help. He had to get his shit together. He's still doing it right now, but yo, they dropped the album because, you know, we need that Cudi in our life. Talking about the new album from Kid Cudi entitled Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin. Now, for those who don't know, like I said, Kid Cudi is a rapper, singer, he does it all, goddamn it. This nigga does all the goddamn things in the world. He came onto the scene around the mid-2000s, but he didn't drop his actual debut album until 2009 with Man on the Moon. He followed that up with Man on the Moon 2 and then Indica, and then after that, like, I kind of just zoned out of Cudi, like, yo, because he started to do some different shit. I mean, he was cool. You can do different shit if you want Cudi, but like me, I kind of switched out of it, and I really wasn't like a super huge Kid Cudi fan, but I did enjoy his early works and what he was doing, especially stuff he was doing over at Good Music when he was linked up with Kanye. But after he left Kanye and Good Music and started doing his own thing, he started dropping some projects that just really wasn't, I couldn't fuck with him. Like Satellite Flight and Speeding Bullet to Heaven. I mean, that shit was, we was in some trouble with Cudi at that point. Like, something was going on, and we didn't know what to do to help this nigga. But now it seems like he's back into his original form from what I'm hearing, and he's doing it in the wake of him going to actually get help and just wanting to better himself and his mental illness issues, which is something that doesn't get talked a lot about, especially in the hip-hop community and with black people. And it's just good to see Cudi's really going out to do everything he can to get himself better and a happier place, because like ever since he came on the scene, this nigga's been just sad and depressed and just miserable every fucking album. And to tell people who go through the same thing, but like, we want Cudi to get better, y'all. We want Cudi to win. We want him to be happy. We want to see him smiling genuinely, and hopefully through this album and the things he's doing now, he will now be able to do it. So now let's see if Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin gets Cudi's passion out, takes care of all that pain, and slays all the goddamn demons, or if it's just an album that Cudi should have just waited to do after he did that in his own personal life, and then he should have just came out with an album called I'm Happy Nigga, Finally Shit, Yes, Goddamn It, Finally, Goddamn It, I'm Happy Shit. That's the name of the album. It should be that entire thing. Let's talk about it. And when I first popped in the album and tuned into the production, I found out that Cudi is going back to that original wavy, atmospheric, dark, moody sound that he's known, and he really just kind of shines on more than anything. And this album is front to back just that type of production. There's a lot of just really just dark, chilling, moody, like I said, sounds on here. A lot of heavy instrumentation, a lot of synth sounds, a lot of cool just like effects on here. And it's just Cudi just really just feeling more back centered into what he was doing. He's not really experimenting much. It's got more of a hip-hop-esque sound and vibe to it, which is really good to hear him back on. And it's just something that I feel like Cudi really just needs to explain all the passion and the pain and the demon slaying things that he's trying to come around with this album. The production on here fits that. It's dark, it's chilling, it's just really just in his own zone, and for the most part I enjoy it. Now I will say this album is quite lengthy. It's like fucking almost an hour and a half on this album is like a fucking movie shit, but it's like, as you gotta listen to the whole goddamn thing, and the production on here, if you're not in the right zone, or if you not have a good nap in you or a good night's sleep, you may end up zoning out or falling asleep just off the sound of this album, because it's just the same style and tone, and the songs themselves are quite long, and it's just so many things about them that you might have to like take breaks and kind of just like listen to it in bits and parts with just the production, because there's just so much to it. But with the album being so lengthy, you kind of just see that Cudi has sort of a theme or something that he's just trying to get across through this entire album. And an interesting thing about it is that it's broken up into actually 4 different acts. So it is like a fucking movie, and it's 4 acts, and pretty much it's 5 songs an act, except for the last act, which is only 4 songs. But Act 1 is called Tuned, and then it goes into Act 2, which is Prophecy, and then Act 3, which is Niveau de, fuck some French shit. I don't fucking know. Goddamn it, Cudi, why don't you just put it in English? And then the last act is It's Bright and Heaven is Warm. And as far as the producers he got on here, it makes sense why this production sounds the way it does, because this nigga's got, of course, himself doing production, but he's got Plain Pat, Anthony Kilhofer, Mike Dean, Mike Will Made It, Pharrell, Dr. Genius, A+, Idol Kid, and Jay Graham, as well as probably some other motherfuckers. But those are the main motherfuckers, and they all come through and give Cudi his atmospheric, wavy, dark, grim sound throughout this entire album, and they all do it very, very well, and they all come through with something that I think Cudi could really express himself the way that he should have and wanted to through this entire album. So now let's see what Cudi did with all this massive amounts of production on here, and just see what he did with it, because you know this nigga's gonna hum like 6 times. He's gonna that's what he does. He hums at every goddamn time he can do. So let's see how much humming and singing and rapping this nigga Cudi has done. Let's talk about it. Now, when it comes to Cudi on this album, he's really went back to his Man on the Moon, In the Cut type days, which I really enjoy. He's not really doing that crazy shit he was doing on Speeding Bullet to Heaven. So he's back to form, I feel, more than any time he's been since Man on the Moon. And on here, he's really just focusing on the title of the actual album. He's talking about the things that he's passionate about, the things that cause him the pain, and him just overcoming and slaying his demons that he's going through inside. And he just talks about that throughout the entire album. And what I found with this album is that as you go through it, it starts off with him just talking about the things he's passionate, the things that he goes through with the pain, and just the trouble and struggles that he goes through inside and out as a person. But going towards the back end and the end of the album, you kind of do see Cudi sees a light at the end of the tunnel when he sees a direction that he wants to go that is going to make him a better person. He sees like he's kind of made it out of this zone finally, or he's going to be in the stages of making out of this zone and putting himself into a better place. So that's why I feel like this album is so lengthy and long, because Cudi's sort of getting out all these things that he has to talk about, and he's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of pain he's gone through, a lot of things that he's passionate about with previous relationships or things that he's been with other people, and the demons that he's going through that we all know. He deals with the depression and just the tendencies and the thoughts he goes through that just makes him feel like a terrible person, and he just wants to get through all that and power through that and just make himself a better person at the end of the day. And I think that's what this album encompasses. And from that, we end up getting a lot of really good songs on this album. Some songs on here I didn't care too much for. I think the album does have a little bit too much to it. I think it should have been shaved down a bit. 19 songs and almost an hour and a half long of Cudi is a lot to take in, and I think it does cause the album to be hindered and drawn back. Even though he does come through with his theme very well on most of the songs on here, I just think some could have just been left off, or we should have just got the album kind of sort of split in half and got one album and then another album a little bit later. But everything had to be done at one goddamn time. He had to get all this shit out, so hey, he had to do that shit, so goddamn, we had to sit and listen to this shit. And when it comes to features on this album, he's got quite a few notable names up on here, goddamn it, and they all come through and do the damn thing. He's got Andre Benjamin, or Andre 3 Stacks, of course, and then he's also got Travis Scott, Pharrell's up on here, and Willow Smith. So it's not many features on here, but they all come through and they do their damn thing. Pharrell and Andre come in twice on the album, and then you got Willow Smith and Travis Scott just coming in on one song. But for the most part, Cudi handles the entire album for the bulk of it, and he does a good job of carrying the album just by himself, but those features, when they do come in, really do help it out, and especially Andre 3000. Andre 3000 really brings in a real more hip-hop traditional rap on here. Both features, he's up in here rapping with some great verses, and I think it just works out better, and their dynamic kind of just comes in really well, and I want to hear more from Cudi and Andre. If Andre would make a fucking album at least, goddammit, because he's trying to teach with all these goddamn dope-ass verses, but for the most part, they all come in and do some goddamn good work on this album. Now, you know I gotta give you my top 5 tracks, and this was quite a difficult job because I had to just like go through this entire album several times. It took a while for me to really break down and just kind of get 5 songs I really, really loved from this album, but I found them, and they are Swim in the Light, By Design, shit, hold on, I gotta scroll down and shit, Distant Fantasies, The Guide, and Surfing. All right, so let's go back. So Swim in the Light is the actual second song on the album, and I like this song because this is pretty much Cudi saying like, yo, all these things that you have, they're never gonna go away. Even when he tries to numb the pain with whatever way he can, it just feels like he knows it's not gonna go away, and that's the problem and the trouble that he faces with. And it goes again with the whole pain aspect of Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin. And the production on here is really dope. It's got this really atmospheric, wavy, synth-heavy production on here, which really just focuses really well on Cudi's voice, and it just really just kind of accentuates it. And it's a dope track. I really like it. It really just shows Cudi's just like pouring out his heart and his soul again, and just saying, yo, I'm going through this shit, this pain is fucking terrible, and it's not gonna go away. I'm trying to numb it, but maybe I don't need to numb it. Maybe I just need to just try to overcome it and do what I gotta do. So it's a dope track. Really like the vibe of it, and really just sticks with that pain aspect of the album. So definitely check it out. It's a hot one. The next song is By Design, and this is the first track that features Andre 3000. I really like this song. I like the beat on here. It's kind of an upbeat song with still having that really just moody, chilling vibe to it. It's got this really nice synths on here, but it's also got what sounds like a steel drum on here, which is really damn dope. And it's pretty much Cudi and Andre talking about like, yo, you kind of gotta just be who you are by your design. Like you don't fuck up the feng shui, don't fuck up your style, your design, because you are who you are, and you have to be who you are, and don't try to change your design or flip things up, because doing that's only gonna fuck shit up. So just be happy with your design, who you are by design, and don't fuck up the feng shui. I don't even have anything. What the fuck is feng shui? Like I don't know that shit, but don't fuck it up. Just don't fuck up your feng shui. But it's a dope track. Andre comes in with a dope ass verse. I really like his verse on here. And Cudi comes in with some really good vocals as well. So it's just a dope track. I like the vibe of it. It's probably one of the more higher energy tracks on here. So definitely check it out. It's dope. It's hot. What else do I gotta say? But don't fuck up the feng shui. Check it out. The next song is Distant Fantasies, and this one is sort of lends to the passion aspect of the actual theme of the album. And this is actually a very dark, moody, gritty beat where Cudi kind of raps on here. He does his rap thing on, he does it well, but he's pretty much talking about like, yo, he's pretty much just saying, yo, like talking about a previous relationship or somebody he used to be with, where he's like, yo, no matter what, you can be with this new nigga, but you know you really want to be with me, because you got to think about all the times he was smashing, all the things I do, and like, you know, you still fantasize about me, I still fantasize about you, we just doing this shit from a distance. So if you want to hook up, like, you know my number, you know the number, you know where to call me. Fuck that nigga, he ain't doing you like I'm doing you right. And I'm just saying, I'm still up in here. So he's pretty much just like talking about the passion and the things he still has for this particular woman. And he just really says, yo, I'm still down to smash. If you still down to smash, I'm just saying like, yo, it don't go away. I still fantasize. So Cudi, yo, he trying to holler, whoever you are, he's still trying to hit it. I mean, I don't know if he still is, but he's letting it be known. It's a dope track. I love the vibe of it, really chilling and dark, but at the same time, it just shows Cudi such like, yo, he still wants something, whatever it is, it's good. It must be good, goddammit. Check it out. The next song is The Guide, and this is the second song that features Andre 3000, and it is another song that lends to the whole passion theme and aspect of the shit. And for the most part, what the song is about is Cudi's talking about this woman that he's really like infatuated with, but she the controlling type. She like, you know, she like to run the show, and like she, you know, she bad, and Cudi kind of likes it. And it's pretty much just him talking about like all these things that like she does, and she kind of puts him through, but he ends up just loving it. She's the guy. He's guided by her and the things that she does, regardless of what they are. And 3 Stacks again comes in with another dope verse, and Cudi does this thing on here that was kind of weird, but I kind of end up like, it's kind of cool with it. He does this little like breathing thing, like it's kind of weird and shit at first when I heard it, but like, yo, I kind of get it now as you listen to it. But he on here doing a little weird things and whatnot. But yo, I think he's smashing something and it's proper. I don't know what he getting, but goddamn it must be good as shit, cause it's fucking with him. It's fucking with him, but he loves it. But it's a dope ass track. Beat on here is just as hard hitting and chilling as the rest of them on this goddamn album, and it's just something that stood out to me. So definitely check that shit out. And 3 Stacks again comes through. Make an album, nigga. Stop fucking with us and make a goddamn album. Check it out. And the last song is Surfing, and this is actually the very last song on the album. It closes it out, and I like this. It was actually a single. It's produced by Pharrell and features him as well. And this is pretty much sort of like the actual light at the end of the tunnel of the album, where Cudi kind of sort of like sees, yo, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to slay all these demons. I'm going to get through all this pain and passion. And I'm going to do it by making my own waves and surfing them shits like I'm a motherfucking surfer on point on the beach in California. That's how I do this shit. And it's just a really dope track, high energy. I love the just vibe of it, and just really just comes out really well, and it kind of sort of just caps off. Like the album starts off very just like really just dark and gloomy, but it ends up with a lot of just like brightness and just like, yo, I got through this shit and this is where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna have a new lease on life, and I'm gonna really just make it my all to really just enjoy life from this point on. So I like the vibe of it. I like the arc that it kind of came over, and it really does come off like a movie that way. It starts off just like down here, and by the time the movie or the album ends, Cudi's like up here in a way. So like hopefully that's what it translates to him in real life. But it's a dope track, dope production on here. Everything on here just kind of fits well, and I love just the overall theme and what it just gives off to cap off this album. It's a dope track. And for the most part with this album, it really just took some time to grow on me. When I first listened to it, I kind of just did not really care for it. I tuned out of it because it was so long and there was so much to it. But with a couple days of listening to it, and it really just clicked with me what Cudi was doing, I really appreciate this album. I don't love this album, but I really did enjoy what Cudi did on this album, and there were some songs that I really did like a lot. Some songs I didn't really care too much for, but for the most part, it's just a really just dope album that Cudi's pretty much just taken everything pain that he's gone through and putting it out there. So my final verdict, I'm not saying that Kid Cudi, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin is a very well put together, very well produced album that's just a little too goddamn long and has some songs that I really don't care for, but I do care for the theme of it itself. All I'm saying is that beats on here are really good, very well layered and well detailed, very moody and chilling, but it's what Cudi works the best over. And as far as Cudi himself, he comes through with his singing, his little bit of rapping, his humming, but he also comes through with some great subject matter, and he's coming through with that quality personal content. And you can see that he had a goal and a mind state, and he just hits all these topics of the passion and the pain and the demon slaying. He does it very well, and he ends it off with hope. He ends it off with a light at the end of the tunnel. And like I said, even though I don't love this album, I really appreciate what he did. It's just too goddamn long for me, and I won't be going back to some of the other songs, but there are some on here that I really will be checking out more and more often, and it is a good album overall. So all I gotta say is that for me, Kid Cudi, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin is not Granddad approved, but I will give it a very highly Granddad recommended. So go check it out. It's out right now. You probably already listened to this shit because it's been out for a while. It took a while for me to really get this album out with the review because I really needed to just really soak it in because it's so much, but I'm glad I did take my time with it because I do appreciate everything that Cudi put into this, because he put a lot of shit into this, and for the most part he came through with a very solid album and probably one of the better albums he's put out since Indica. But I got nothing more to say. Kid Cudi, Passion, Pain, Demon Slayin is very highly Granddad recommended, so go check out the shit right fucking now. Flip it. Alright, y'all, that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and drop a comment. Tell me what you think of Kid Cudi, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin. If you've heard it, if you haven't heard it, like I said, it's a very well produced and put together album, but it's just really fucking long, and you may tune out of it. But for the most part, the theme on here I think is really dope. Cudi executes it very well, and he brings us probably one of his more focused albums that we've heard since the Man on the Moon Indica days. So hopefully this keeps him on that momentum, and I hope after all the shit he's going through and doing to get better, he delivers an album where he really does show that he has improved. Previous videos on the side as well as my latest single. Check that out, show us some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram, links in the description below, and subscribe. Button on the screen, button below, Woolly Reviews, twice a week, as well as CDK studies in the gaming channel. Check all that shit out, and if you're into anything and want your shit spotlighted, info below. And I got nothing more to say. So until next time I take my leave, Granddaughter, Kid Cudi, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin. It's an overall pretty good damn album. I mean, the cover's questionable still, Cudi, but shit, I get what you're doing, and let go. I appreciate that shit. And everybody else, happy holidays. Enjoy your fucking holiday. I'm gonna go do that with the fam, and I will be back next week with my end of the year videos. You're gonna be seeing what I'm gonna be dropping, but it's gonna be some dope shit. So check that shit out, because it's coming. I'm out of here.